Wenn ich jetzt sage, the secret structure of great speeches, dann wissen die Profis, wen ich meine. Nancy Duarte, und die wird gleich auf der großen Bühne sein. Herzlich willkommen zum zweiten Tag der NSA-Convention 2014. Ja, und dann würde ich gerne danach, beziehungsweise davor spricht Steve Forbes, den würde ich gerne vors Mikrofon bekommen. Ob mir das gelingt, weiß ich nicht, weil der scheint hier ziemlich begehrt zu sein. Also alle sind ganz aufgeregt, dass Steve Forbes da ist. Gucken wir mal. I want to talk about your presentation skills. It was very funny. You use many rhetoric figures. Is it easy for you to grab such an audience?
You have to know your audience and respect the audience, and this was a very good audience. They were primed, and that makes a huge difference.
Do you have any advice for upcoming speakers? What should they do?
Know your topic and practice, practice, practice.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, da hinten ist Nancy Duarte, die schnappen wir uns jetzt auch gleich. Now you compared a few famous speeches and you found the structure of a speech by Evita Peron or Steve Jobs is similar.
Yeah, I have, and I've been analyzing even international speeches. So it works across all geographies. Even in the Asian cultures where their storytelling structures are a little different, they've kind of adapted to the Western storytelling structures too.
Isn't it tedious if every story, every speech has the same structure?
That's a great question because people love to work in systems, right? They want to follow rules, and that's not what this is. So I specifically call it a form and not a formula because a form has more flexibility to it. And the example I gave on the stage was around the sonata form, which I think Germany loves classical music, right? And if you can listen to one sonata by Mozart and another by Beethoven, and they're very different, yet it's the same basic structure. So the creative expression is what'll make it not seem formulaic.
You told us that you had a bad grade in speech communication, C-. Do you think everybody can become a speaker?
I do. I actually think people who are more scared of public speaking do better than the ones who will just wing it on a stage because they'll care, they craft, they work harder at it, and they actually wind up being the stronger persuader than somebody who just wings it and feels comfortable being on the stage.
That was very encouraging. Thank you very much. It was an awesome speech. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Jetzt ist klar, was wir tun müssen, oder? Steve Forbes sagt, üben, üben, üben. Und Nancy Duarte sagt, eine gute Rede funktioniert auf der ganzen Welt, egal wo, in welchem Land. Und sie sollte das wissen. Und außerdem hat sie gesagt, jeder kann ein guter Speaker werden, also den Mut nicht sinken lassen. Und jetzt beginnen die Workshops.
Ich stehe hier mit Scott McKain. Scott McKain ist einer der bestbekanntesten Experten für Marketing, Video und andere Dinge bei der NSA. Scott, you are a superstar of NSA. It seems like you know everything about speaking.
Oh,
Why do you come back to the NSA convention?
Well, two things. First of all, we all have to continue to learn. I think that's one of the challenges of a professional. I don't want my doctor to stop learning. I want her to continue to develop her practice. I don't want my lawyer to use law that worked back in the 70s and might not work today. So I think every professional has to continue to learn.
How much time do you invest in creating this talk, which is a unique talk, right? You can't reuse that for any other audience.
Yeah, one of a kind, yeah. There are segments of the presentation that it's part of my material. I talked about a signature story, and then I used one of them in the presentation. But I probably put 70 to 100 hours, and at least 70 in terms of developing all the slides. And I like doing my own slides because it's part of how I prepare and how I think about what goes in what spot and what's the logical progression of thought. So it takes a while, but I think that's the key with all speakers. So the more prepared you are, the better the event goes.
Wow, heute habe ich schon viele spannende Sachen gesehen, aber jetzt gehe ich zum Chip Eichelberger. Und er war jahrelang bei Tony Robbins und Tony Robbins ist eine Legende im Speaker- und Coaching-Business. Und Chips Thema ist Accelerate Your Business, also wie können Sie Ihr Geschäft beschleunigen. Das kann sehr interessant werden. Schauen wir doch mal hin. For the German audience, for the German speakers, they're like very strong in process.
Yes.
But what would be your number one advice for them to accelerate their business?
Well, again, I'd say we'd go back to one of the things I learned from Tony is that people would rather be entertained than educated. So wherever I've spoken around the world, people say, well, you know, that's kind of American. Well, people like energy.
Right.
They like engagement. Very few people do a handout like I did today.
Yes.
Very few people will ask the audience a question and have them answer and have them stand up and actually engage. So make it less about you, more about them. And so to get better, we talked about quality feedback and deliberate practice. So getting videos of yourself consistently, getting a quality coach, going back and looking, I talk about being switched on, your energy level. I'll do an exercise when I'm training speakers, for example, where I try to get them to over-exaggerate. Too many facial expressions, too much energy. And when we have them, people in the audience in the training, the person doing it always thinks, oh, that was way too much. But everybody in the audience says, oh, that was great. Peter, that was really good. And then you go back and watch it on video and you go, wow. So quality feedback, deliberate practice, raising that, just making it more interactive, making it more sticky, and making it more fun. No matter how dry the subject, you can find a way to make it fun.
Exactly. Thanks a lot.
Hey, welcome. Fantastic. Thank you, guys.
Das Wichtigste, das ich heute gelernt habe, war, wie Chip die Leute engagiert. Also hat ständig die Leute hochgehoben, die haben von den Stühlen gestanden. Hat alle Sinne angesprochen und am Ende war diese Yes, das ist das Ritual, wie man sich in Top-Zustand bringt. Das fand ich großartig. Und damit war es das für den heutigen NSA-Convention. Ich bin gespannt, was morgen noch passiert. Tschüss.